Hi, I'm Brantly Sheffield, and we're at Ro2 Art in Dallas, Texas, and we're going to be taking a look at my show, It Was a Good Time. The paintings feature characters from my life. I try to strike a balance between the extremely personal narratives that they're based on and the universal sense of familial bonds that painting can activate. I also use drawing to create a contorted aspect to the figures that is indicative of the situations that they present or that they are in. And like in this painting, The Blessing, Tom, the character staring at us, Tom, is a very personal figure in my life. He was one of my mentors, and I knew how to kind of get a look and a grunt out of him, and all I had to do is just look at him for a little too long, and the look would kind of come, and this grunt or this sound would follow it, and I knew I was kind of pulling at him and getting him a little annoyed. And that was kind of the point of this painting, was to strike that balance between affection and annoyance. And once I heard his little grunt, I knew I was in the right place. I use drawing in a very flat-footed and contorted way to add a sense of familiarity to the figures and to create a sense as if they are known people. The figures are also striking a pose in response to compositional situations where you're being observed, looked at, or told to pose or smile. Like here with Pink Sock Super Squat, we have one of my dear friends while we were at a New Year's party in East Texas, and we were just having fun, being goofy, and Kat's response was to pop a squat and give us a weird hand sign. The kind of contorted aspects of the figure come through in the proportional exaggerations that are kind of seen here. For instance, like the elongated forms and the legs, the body, and those things all kind of add to this invitation to become a part of the painting space or the figure space. So this is Shifty-Eyed Plot. It's also my self-portrait. This one is just kind of indicative of being in the painting space, being invited into the painting space, and kind of wondering what the figure is pondering or plotting. I also find it interesting because this is the only painting, one of the only paintings that isn't directly making eye contact with the viewer, and I find it interesting it's my self-portrait that's doing that. I've also added certain compositional details like paintings from other local artists or art collections in the background. Some of them are our friends' artworks, some of them are artworks I just saw on the person's whose house this was, their wall. And there's an art historical kind of reference there. Vermeer actually started the painting of other paintings into paintings. And I just thought it was a nice way to kind of play a little tongue-in-cheek and add those art historical references back into it. So this is Family Portrait. This is actually my dad's family and his mother and his two siblings. This is a good example of that universal kind of nature about being told to like smile or being arranged in a certain composition. We've all been on that side of the camera, and I think it's a good example of one of the ways that I like my paintings to kind of interact with people. It puts you on the other side of composing and taking and making an image. It's also a good example of how I use drawing again to create a contorted aspect of people to make them feel a little bit more known rather than personal. And it's also a good example of the way that I like to set up drawing and how those drawings indicate how I'm going to make the painting. You can see a lot of the little marks and patterns that all kind of set up the intricate details of the clothes or the portrait or really anything. The paintings are invitations to interact with people. They almost force you to play a role in their narrative. They're inciting you, inviting you to have a good time.